All right, so this is the info session for the Music Entrepreneur Club. I'm basically just going to break down what it is, why it started, how you could get involved, all those basic questions. And if you have any questions after a very short presentation, I'm happy to answer those. So what is the Music Entrepreneur Club? The Music Entrepreneur Club is an online music education and networking platform. We meet twice a week, not only for myself, but I bring in a lot of established professionals in the music industry, and we tackle all of the different topics that an artist needs to know about. I have a few examples down here. It's like, how do I find a manager? How do I start touring? What does a booking agent do? What is publishing? How do I get on Spotify playlists? All of the questions that artists have coming up, whether you just started or have a little traction already. It's for all artists because there's a lot to cover when it comes to the music industry. And we make our way through all of the topics week by week. So each week there's a different topic that we cover. Again, either me lecturing and having a Q&A session or bringing in a guest on more specific topics. For instance, publishing. I'm familiar with publishing. I know kind of the general basics. But I would probably bring in an expert to talk more about that because there's probably some questions that even I can't answer. So that's what it is. It's online, it's live, it's interactive. It gives you a chance to ask questions. The second session of the week is a chance to really come revisit the lecture that was in the beginning of the week and really make sure you get a thorough understanding of it, as well as cover some current events in the industry. So that's what we'll do in the second session. Why is it necessary? I constantly see artists getting in their own way, messing up opportunities, messing up relationships simply because they just don't understand certain things. And right now there's an opportunity like there hasn't been ever before for artists to create a business, create their own infrastructure. You don't necessarily need a label. Everybody knows that. Everybody says that. But nobody follows it up with, well, okay, what do I need? What do you need if you don't have a label? How do you build a business? Because there's a lot that goes into it. It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science, but there's a lot that goes into making a career out of music. And actually, most people won't be able to be successful. But I want to try to give people all of the knowledge that you need in order to give it your best shot. Books kind of fall short nowadays because the music industry is moving so fast. By the time you get a book out, there's probably a lot of things that changed already. So books aren't the best tool. I would encourage you to read and read as much as possible, but I think sometimes books miss the mark because they're out of date. Conferences are dope, but they're very expensive to get to. And some conferences aren't that good actually. So we feel like this platform allowing you to meet twice a week live, bring in established professionals where you can talk to them on a weekly basis, and it's every week and it's just ongoing so we can adapt to all the changes that happen in the industry. If there's a new topic that pops up, we can easily slide that in, talk about it, address it so everybody has a clear understanding. So I think this platform is going to be very unique. But I think it addresses some of the shortfalls of other education methods or platforms. So what are some of the categories that we cover? It's literally 100% comprehensive, everything from music production, marketing, publishing, merchandising, management, networking, legal, PR, monetization, building your team, social media, everything. Artists are tasked with a huge job. As an artist, you're essentially running like 5 businesses when you think about it. Merchandising, that could be an own business in and of itself. The music sales, that could be in and of a topic in a category, in a business in and of itself. Management, publishing, touring, all these can be different businesses, but you're tasked with doing everything. Not necessarily yourself, but it's about building your team to make sure you're handling all of these different categories. So we'll cover everything. It'll be super comprehensive. And these are the categories that we'll cover. So what exactly do you receive by being a member? I talked already about the 2 live sessions. Each session will be about 60 to 90 minutes. The first session will be on a Monday night. So whatever the topic is that week, let's just say we're talking about management. I'll talk to management for about probably 45 minutes to an hour. And then there'll be a Q&A session where you guys can ask me any questions that you want. You can make them personal questions about your specific situation that you may be going through at the time, or it can just be more general and broad for everybody. And then that second session will be another 60 to 90 minutes. That'll be on a Thursday. If you forgot to ask the question that you wanted to ask on Monday night's topic, that's your opportunity to do it. If it's just, maybe something that you didn't quite understand, or maybe something came up, maybe something popped into your head a couple days after that you wanted to address, so we can circle back and revisit those questions. It'll be a little bit more informal. There won't be a formal lecture, but it'll be a Q&A session. And if there's not any questions, we'll just be talking about current industry news. If anything has happened that week, and typically something happens every week, if not every day, that impacts the music industry and probably impacts you as an artist as well. So those are 2 sessions. One of those sessions every month will be a webinar with a guest. So I'm guaranteeing at least one guest to be to join one of our sessions every month, but I'm going to try to get more guests. I'm going to try to have more guests, more than one, but you're guaranteed that you're going to have one dope, super quality guest every month to join our discussions. The third thing is access to a private group. We're using a platform called Member Planet. It'll be a private group. There is a group on Facebook right now, but that's a public group. We turned it into a public group. It's the Music Entrepreneur Club. You can find it. Please join that group as well. I'll continue to share a lot of information in there. But the private group you'll have access to once you sign up is on a platform called Member Planet. In there, we'll be having discussions. You'll be able to reach out to one another, other members in the group. There's events posted there. We'll be able to share documents in there. There'll be a lot of great information shared within the private group, so you'll have access to that. And then the final thing is a weekly newsletter. I'll be putting together a weekly newsletter of things that happen in the industry that I think you should know about. Again, you got to stay up on a lot of the changes that are happening in the industry, because a lot of it is going to impact you as an artist or a manager. So I want to make sure you stay up to date on that. So that's essentially what you receive by being a part of the club. So who's involved? So this is my baby. I created the Music Entrepreneur Club just, again, based off seeing so many artists trip over themselves. I've learned a lot growing a label. If you're not familiar, I co-founded Funk Volume. Funk Volume was a very successful label that came to a very embarrassing end and crashed and burned. And I'm willing to talk about that as well, because there's a lot of lessons to learn on our rise up, and there's a lot of lessons to be learned from the crash and burn. So I'll be able to speak to my personal experiences. And then I've also brought in DJ Booth, partnered with DJ Booth. They're going to be helping me push forward the club. They're also going to help get me access to more guest speakers. They've said they're going to be very supportive. I'm going to write some articles for them as well a couple times a month that help promote the MEC, but also kind of let people know what we're talking about. So I'm looking forward to that. And then A3C as well. They're going to be helping me push this thing forward. So I got some dope partners on board. It's a very legit, incredible platform. I'm dedicated to making sure that this is the best music education and networking platform that exists on or off the internet. It's really going to be dope. A lot of dope people involved. So here are some examples of past guest speakers. I say past guest speakers because this was actually a club that launched last year, and I shut it down while we were starting Still Moving at the end of last year. But just to give you guys an idea of the quality of guests that we brought to the table, we have Murs, who's currently signed to Strange Music, but has been in the game for many years. I have my guy Brian Hobbs, who's a programmer at South by Southwest. He came on to talk about how artists get booked on showcases at the South by Southwest Festival and how to approach a festival when you're going there to try to network with people. That was a really dope conversation. I had my man Tuma, who's the global head of hip hop programming at Spotify. I don't know if he'll have time to join us this time. That man's probably getting 10,000 emails a day of artists and labels trying to hit him up to get on the Rap Caviar playlist, but he came through and dropped a bunch of gems. And then we had Nima Etmanan, the vice president over at Empire, who also came through and dropped a bunch of gems. So these are people that have a lot of experience, very quality people there to take the time out of their day to join us and share information with you guys. These aren't, these aren't cats that just got into the industry a year or so ago. These are seasoned vets, and they have a lot of things to share with you guys. So those are the types of guests. So the first 4 guests that I have booked for the relaunch of the club, I have my guy Crooked Eye, who's a member of Slaughterhouse, vet in the game, super dope MC. I have my guy Lee, who's a senior vice president over at Warner Brothers. So again, you're not getting access to the analysts and the rookies of the game. These are senior vice presidents, veterans. Who else do I have? I have my man Justin Hunt, aka the Company Man, who is the former chief editor of Hip Hop DX and is now the head of video at Ambrosia for Heads, and he does some stuff on Shade 45. And then lastly, who's my 4th guest? My mind's drawing a blank. My 4th guest, my man Amir Abbasi, who currently works for All Def Digital with Russell Simmons over there, doing a lot of business development, but he's also the manager of Freeway and some other new acts. You can check him out at Blame the Label on Twitter. So again, very quality people, and I'm going to continue to dip into the Rolodex and bring some people to the table that I think you guys need to hear from. So you don't have to make your own mistakes. You can learn from the mistakes of others. All right. So the pricing. Here, the normal pricing is going to be $49.99 a month. And then the yearly membership offered at a 17% discount. I'm also going to be offering some scholarships, probably give out a few scholarships every month. Haven't come up with the criteria as of yet, but I know that there's some people where $49.99 is very steep, but they would add a lot and they would have a lot to contribute to the club, and I don't want to ice them out. The $49.99, I came up with it. Some people might think it's pricey, but when you start to think about education in other industries, even if you wanted to learn to cut hair or if you wanted to be a plumber, this is super cheap compared to pretty much every other industry in which you want information or an education to achieve, to do something in another industry. And if you think about a conference, if you want to go to a conference that's not in your city, you're going to be paying a flight, hotel, conference fees. You're going to come out of pocket at least $1,000. So, $500, that's half of that to be a part of a club every year when I'm bringing these level of quality people. And we're talking about so many things that you can get educated on. I believe this is actually super cheap, even though some people might disagree, and that's okay. But I think this is super cheap compared to the type of information you're getting access to. And then finally, if you are one of the first 25 people to register, you can actually get a membership for $29.99. So the discount code is MEC40. That means 40% off. So if you are one of the first 25 people to register, you'll get actually $29.99 a month will be the price that you lock in. So we'll have that as well. All right. So that's about it. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. If you don't have any questions, all good. But happy to answer any questions that you have. You can just type them in the chat if you have them. Or there's also a Q&A box where you can ask questions as well. When can you join? It's available now. The site is live at MusicEntreprenuerClub.com. It's open and available right now, and then we'll start the first official session on Monday. I believe that's October, I want to say 2nd, but I might be wrong. But we'll start Monday. How do you qualify for a scholarship? Where can you get more info? So the exact criteria I haven't come up with yet. So I'll be giving out more information as I lock that in, but it will probably be something like a 500 to 1,000 word essay about why you want to be a part and what you can contribute to the Music Entrepreneur Club, and what you plan what you're looking to take away from it. So I'll give out more information. Just stay locked into my socials. I'll make sure that I send that information out on all my platforms. But I'll get the exact criteria soon. All right, one more question. Cool. No problem, Carl. I'll wait for it, Chad. Does this have an end date or will it keep going? It will keep going. So I don't plan for this to ever stop. I mean, I consider doing like a class and having it stop, but the music industry is constantly changing. So if we have a marketing session today, that marketing session is probably going to look very different in 6 months. Shit, it might even look different in 3 months. But that's a dope thing about the music industry is you got to continue to, it continues to evolve and change. So we got to keep up with the times. I look back at how we grew Funk Volume. All of the things that we did is probably not even possible today just because it's a lot more difficult to build a fan base on Facebook. So there's a lot of things that are constantly changing. So there is no end date. I might come up with different modules and that might be like a separate session. I don't know. There's different ways to format this, but I feel like right now, just with the monthly membership and keeping the topics rolling, is probably the best thing. But I'm sure that as the club goes on, I'm going to come up with new ideas and better ways to provide information. So that was kind of a long-winded answer, but I'm sure you feel me. Okay. A lot of us watch you build a really dope empire. Now your focus is more on the educational tip, but would you ever consider doing in-person meet and greets? And would you ever be open to building new artists? So I'm not sure. I'm kind of burnt out when it comes to managing artists because you need a certain level of patience. And that might have, I'm just being honest with myself. I'm not sure if I have that anymore. But part of my passion for education, I've always been an educator in some sense. Even as we grew Funk Volume, I was actually a substitute teacher at a high school. So I've always been into education, but just kind of seeing so many artists that need it, my passion grew to educate artists. And then going through my own bullshit, my passion grew to educate artists. So I would much rather work in this capacity and hopefully build this platform up to be, like I said, the dopest music education and networking platform that exists for artists, rather than work day to day with artists at this time. This is where I want to focus my energy and efforts. However, one thing I did forget to mention, the platform will offer one-on-one consultations. I'm not sure if me myself is going to be a consultant, but I'm going to have a network of trusted individuals that are going to be accessible for one-on-one consultations. You'll be able to go to the site. This is not available now. This will be kind of the second wave of things, probably in a couple months. You'll be able to go to the site, look at the people that are approved MEC consultants, look at their background, and then select somebody that you can talk to for a one-on-one consultation for either 30 minutes or an hour. So that'll be kind of in the second wave of offerings as we get this club popping. Dope. Yeah. And please share this. I promise you, man, this is going to be, this isn't a huge money grab for me. It's really hard to make a lot of money, trying to sell things to artists. But this is going to be necessary. This is really going to be a valuable platform. I see the vision of this, looking a year out, when 1,000 artists are a part of this, ultimately you guys are going to be the best resource for one another. I'm going to continue to give you guys information. I'm going to continue to bring in people to give you guys information. But I think ultimately the biggest value that you guys are going to get out of this is each other. When you start building with each other and you start networking and you start sharing resources. I'm trying to bring that to this community because it doesn't really exist right now. But I think it's going to be dope. My vision for this is something special, and hopefully I can make it come to fruition. But so yeah, it's going to be dope. Damien, what's good, man? I appreciate it for sure. So please share it with as many people as you can, or as necessary if you feel comfortable. All artists, I think, need this. Education is not necessarily a cool thing, so it's a hard thing to sell to some artists. But like I said, it's necessary, and it's going to help them. It's going to help them build. It might even help them find out that music's not for them, and that's a good thing too. Or they might find another area within the music industry after attending one of these sessions that, like, man, okay, maybe an artist is not for me, but you know, I'm into booking shows, so I might be a booking agent. So there's a lot that can be learned through this, and this is not kind of a sell your dream type platform. There's no sugarcoating. I'm not gonna say, hey, if you join this club, you're gonna be the best rapper ever. It's none of that. You're gonna get the truth always from this club, from me, and from the people that come in, because you know it doesn't always work out for people, you know, and I'm very well aware of that. So I would never sell a dream. I just want to sell real information or share good information with you guys so you can make your own decisions. So, all right, that's enough of me rambling. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, I know attendance was kind of light on this one, but I think tomorrow I'm having the same session. So if you think somebody would benefit from the things I had to say tonight, please share the link with people. You can sign up for the actual club at MusicEntreprenuerClub.com. So yeah, that's all I got to say. Appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight, and hope to work with you soon. Peace.